beyond now, where reality rides a razor-thin seam between fact and possibility, where the laws of the present collide with the crimes of tomorrow. Patrolling these vast outlands is a new breed of lawman, guarding the fringes of society's frontiers. They are known simply as highwaymen. And this is their story.
Well, hello and welcome to another episode of It Could Have Been a Classic, episode 6. So, right, let me sort this out. Right, here we go. Sorry about that, everybody. Right, it's the camera. Right, episode 6. We're here halfway through the series of a 12-part series of where we troll the internet for all the classics that got cancelled, cut out and failed, but somewhere in there it had the potential to be something far more than what it should be. This is an interesting one, Highwayman. I mean, we've got Flash Gordon, Diana, the Energizer Bunny guy and Mr. Tuvok all in one series together. And in the pilot episode we had Ivanova, Claudia Christian, which they dropped. Right, Highwayman came out, I think it was about 88, 89. There were 9 to 10 episodes in one season and a pilot movie. Now, when the pilot movie came out quite a while before, it was a big hit in America, and we obviously living in UK, we didn't get it until like late Saturday night at some point. Well, I got into Highwayman. It were on Saturday night at 1 o'clock in the morning on ITV, and I came in and I caught the beginning of the pilot episode. I'm coming from the pub actually, and I'm always coming in from the pub. I was younger. So I came in, I thought, what's this? And it was this guy with this big gun and a truck that could turn invisible, and it had jet propulsion on side to speed it up, and I thought, what the fucking hell's this? So where do we go with this? Where do we start? And how is this could have been a classic? Now, I think in the Highwayman series there is a lot in there that, I mean, the star cast alone was worth it. In the pilot episode, things were altered when the actual TV series started. Now, of course, because I lived in the UK, we didn't, in America they got it like on the day it got released. Well, like I said, the pilot episode was quite popular. It's developed a bit of a cult following as this series. Now, the thing is, that's probably more amongst my age group. Now, I remember watching this, and a few days later I was out and about, and somebody said, did you watch that thing on Saturday with that guy with big gun and truck driving about fighting crime? And I said, he said, the Highwayman. I went, yeah. He said, well, there's a series starting on this week, you know. So like, obviously following Saturday, set the VCR, and here we got the Highwayman TV series. Now, I don't know what they were doing with this. Now, it's in between Airwolf and Knight Rider. It just fits in the middle. And Street Hawk. This was at a time of vehicles. Do you know what I mean? We had Street Hawk with the laser guns and the machine guns. Airwolf with the Mac capability and its advanced technology, like a CD-ROM drive back then. You know, and Knight Rider, the talking car. And then suddenly, it's we get the connection, you know, Glenn Larson, in comes the Highwayman, let's do a truck. So we get the truck. So the origins of this, right, is that there's a breed of lawman called highwaymen, and they protect the boundaries of reality, law, society at the extreme edges. They deal, basically, they're like a super uber secret department of the government, but they're incredibly high up, really high up. And really, in the pilot episode, which is a terror at Black Top or something, or whatever, I have actually got these on DVD. I've got copies of them. I went looking for it this morning. I can't find. I'm gonna have to really get in the box and dig and find it. But I hope I haven't lost them. But they are copies taken from a video. That's why the picture's quite shaky. I would like to see all 10 episodes and the pilot released on DVD. I think the pilot movie was actually released, but you can't get it in UK. I'd have to hunt that down. So what happens in the pilot episode, we've got Claudia Christian. It's a radio station that seems to be a front for this organisation. And they've got this scientist guy who obviously invented the trucks. So like they go on missions, and there's not just him, there's others. Now they all wear biker jackets, leather trousers, and they've got these bloody these guns. It's got like settings on it. I don't know how it works. I really don't. But it's Glenn Larson. Don't question it. This gun can. They want in the pilot movie, he aims at the police station and blows half of it to bits with gun. So the technology, I call it ultra tech. You know, if it's a bit more advanced than normal technology, it's my term to get round it all. So these guys are the next level up from high tech. It's ultra tech. The truck is amazing, right? But there's a couple of disappointing factors. They actually use some of the dashboard from Knight Rider, because you do recognise bits of it. But the truck's kitted out beautifully, and the trucks look incredible. The first one, it's an helicopter, like front of an helicopter, you know, and it's inside a truck. And what happens is that I assume that if they're after somebody, truck, that if they can't catch up with them, the truck opens up and the helicopter comes out, and then he goes flying after him. But the helicopter has no weapons, and that was one of the downfalls of it. I thought they got this truck that can suddenly part of it's an helicopter. And what's hilarious, he takes the bloody steering wheel off, so it's got the flying stick, which I find absolutely hilarious, because he passes the steering wheel to somebody, and they're like, "So what are you doing?" And he's got a helicopter. Now there's a sports car in there. It's a Toyota or something, I don't know, but got a beautiful sports car, and that's in there as well. But they deal with like stuff now, and this is all in pilot episode, which is really enjoyable. I like the concepts of this. But he has a woman in car. She says, "Well, what do you work for? What do you do?" And he's the only thing we get about this organisation, because in the pilot, it's like, I think it's like a radio station. It's the front with Claudia Christian. He says, you know, the roads and like all this, the highways, and that we have jurisdiction over that. It's like the mysteries of the road. I don't know, but to me, bloody what? You're a traffic warden. Well, anyway, it's like a really lame excuse for what this organisation is. Now we know it's government backed, or it's part of in the government chain and stuff, and like it's ultra top secret, because he's got this wallet and he can get anywhere with it. So I assume it's like, I don't know, people said it's some form of US Marshals. So we get through pilot episode, it's an hour and a half, which is really good. And then we start the TV series. And I remember watching it the week after. I loved them credits. Back at the time, the credit looks incredible. And the music. And they changed the cast. You got Flash Gordon. He's Highway. You don't know his name because it's classified. You've got the dude from the Energizer adverts. Do you remember him? He used to keep on going or whatever. You know, he's playing Jetto. He's Australian. He carries a boomerang, like a sonic boomerang, which he can throw and it comes back to him. And Eklund Cox machine gun. Meanwhile, Highway's got his ultra cannon blaster, and they all wear motorbike jack cut-offs and he's got a truck. You don't really know what he can do. I mean, his truck is like his car. His part of truck detaches from trailer, and it comes like this ultra fast, giant-sized monster sports car, which that's all we seem to know it does. Now we know the truck can do stuff. It's got like all this technology, but it's got no weapons. In the pilot episode, it's got a jet engine. These thrusters come outside the truck so it can speed up, you know. And I'm thinking, this truck, I mean, come on, man, right? Now, can you imagine if he's on pursuit of somebody down New York? How's he going to get round corner? You know, in a traffic jam. Suppose that's why he has a helicopter. Now, the helicopter would have been better if it had like a laser gun or some rocket, some cool stuff. It's got scanners and sensors. But in pilot, it's flying around throwing grenades on baddies at end, which is quite disappointing after you've seen it come out at, the truck, when it like lets his cockpit, like truck cockpit, becomes helicopter bit, and it merges out, which is quite good. I quite like it. So I love all this secret organisation stuff, and that's it. I was a bit disappointed with that, but it is a very high-tech organisation. It can turn invisible. That's hilarious. There's 60 people in a building. They only did this once. Go to stealth mode, and it's hilarious. It's like footage of NASA or stock footage from some film. They're all in the room, and the satellite makes it go invisible. I thought there were no need for that. Why don't you just turn fucking invisible, right? Or it's got some kind of technology, and that's it, So we're getting to TV series, and the cast has been totally changed. It's really been changed. So we've got Diana Jane Badler. Totally in love with her. She was my crush for many years back then. She's the boss. She's right bossy and all that. She's a great character. She works well with him, but she sends him on missions and all this. There's a guy from Australian guy from Energizer advert said him. And then in comes Mr. Tuvok as DC Montana, wearing really cheesy 80s clothing, and he's super cool dude, and he's a genius, who invents all their technology. And every week he's on the road and he's going places, dealing with weird stuff. I mean, I think by the second episode, his mate, Kent McCord, Kent McCord from Farscape and Battlestar 80, he's a highwayman as well. He turns up in a truck and he gets murdered in a town, and Highway goes to investigate. And it's a Japanese corporation where they've replicated the entire town full of androids. And he doesn't really explain, but he's like, when he destroys this, because obviously he goes in there with his mate and they wipe it out, this sinister plan by this corporation. And the baddie says at the end, this is what the world's going to be, this is where we're all going now with technology anyway. That's it, finishes, and that gets covered up. And then we plod along, each episode's got something weird. There's like an Indian one with something mystical going on. There's something going on. I haven't seen that one recently. Vaguely remember the deal with that, with this tribe and all that. And then we move on to really weird stuff then. Like he's driving along one of the roads, back part of America somewhere, I don't know, wherever, in desert. And he picks this dude up walking along, and he comes from a secret military project of war clones. They're all super strong and all this, and all these other clones being sent to terminate him. and he can, like, I don't know, he's found his humanity or something, and they help him, but he escapes. It just finishes with him walking down the road, but this project gets shut down, and that's like, we're really getting to science fiction on a lot of this, and this is why I love this series. I do admit I have a love for Highwayman. I really wish it had gone a full 22 episodes. And then we get the alien invasion story. Now, the alien invasion story had been around in other series. It's the same story. It's about where something crashes and then it jumps from body to body, but they're going to invade Earth. Because that episode we're in, Nightman, the same story. And it gets to this observatory with this computer set up and all this to contact this fleet that's going to come to Earth. And that's what it does, and they can't destroy it because they just keep jumping body to body, and it possesses everybody to get to this observatory to send this message. But Highway figures it out and destroys its actual body and kills it, so that never happens. But that story has been around in a couple of other sci-fi series, especially Nightman used it, and there was something else that used it. So that story must have sold quite a few times to different TV series. And then there's time travel. Yeah, time travel. It goes back. There's a place in the desert where it's boarded off because there's a time portal there. It takes you back to the day of the nuclear explosion. Apparently, when they exploded the test bomb, it opened a portal and they sealed it off. And somebody, a scientist whose father who worked on the Manhattan Project, he goes back in time as a scientist to undo all this. And he goes back in his car, drives through this portal, because these soldiers guard it, but they don't know what it is. An Highway turns up, and he goes back in truck, back to 1940 something, and he's driving around in truck in 40s. You know, and they've got FBI ID, and they get arrested because they've got Japanese writing on the tyres. I mean, come on. So we're getting to, like, these are just some of, in the 9-10 episodes, what's in there. Now, it is, for its time, it is very high-tech, what they can do. But there is a few flaws in this, because, like, there's 3 openings in this series, right? Right, let me read these to you. Right, in the introduction. Now, do you remember Cannon, right? William Conrad, Fat Jake and the Fat Man? No, I know you're going to think, yeah, don't compare it to that, right? Martin in Cannon, right, okay. Right, so I had to get that because I will get reminded. So there you go. Right, Cannon, please. Right, I thought more John Candy. Right, opening narration by William Conrad. All episodes after the pilot. Now listen to this, right? There is a world just beyond nowhere. Reality runs a razor-thin seam between fact and possibility, where the laws of the present collide with the crimes of tomorrow. Patrolling these vast outlands is a new breed of lawman. Guarding the fringes of society and the frontiers, they are simply known as the Highwayman. And this is their story. I mean, it's that alone draws you in. Do you know what I mean? So before that, in the pilot episode, obviously they re-altered quite a lot for the television series. So this is what in pilot episode. This honestly, this makes me go to stitches. They say he came into this world from some place off the clock. And his mother was an ice-cold wind, his pa a fiery rock. It's told that on some starless nights his rig could up and glow. And folks who say they saw it coming swear they didn't see it go. Now you hear a lot of legends told when you ride the long hard slab. From some who say the man is good and some say who's bad. But all agreed, whoever tried to play a cheating hand, you only get one chance to draw against the Highwayman. What the fuck? You know, honestly, right? So, right, and there's more, right? There's more, right? Right, hang on, where is it? Right. Oh, I can't find it. Right, so we got that, right? I think that, actually, might be, oh no, I think that's it, right? Yep, no, that's it, guys. I thought there were 3, it's 2 paragraphs together. And that's what it's about. So when this started, he's like a lawman for this federal ultra-secret agent, which they normally are, which there's no name. But they do have an headquarters. It's this triangle-shaped pyramid building upside down, which is where Jane Badler's based with DC Montana. I mean, where do they get the names from? DC Montana. And Tim Russ is so campy in this. It's unbelievable. But there's a great soundtrack. And there is some fantastic stories in there. And I do recommend you give this like a look. It's from the early 80s. A lot of people, only them that probably watched it and got a thing for it. Because I went on YouTube and I was looking for reviews. I've only found 2 guys doing a podcast about it, and they loved it, and they were a lot younger than me. So and they said it's like it does stand. Highwayman stands on its own, and I think you could have got a 5-year run out of Highwayman, but I don't think they knew where they were going with it. That I think the format was sort of alright. The high-tech ultra trucks that had all the technology, which they could take places, and it's like I suppose it's like a base as well. That there's equipment on board or whatever they need to deal with the problem. I sort of think that's quite a great concept. You know what I mean? But it would have been nice for the helicopter to have weapons. The truck should have been armed as well with like Gatling guns. It should have had something. Right, I like the whole thing of the invisibility thing, which should have been used more. But the science fiction elements in Highwayman is pretty cool. And I even like the weapons, and even how they're dressed is pretty... Well, I suppose it's sort of Mad Max-esque. Now, could this have been a classic? Yeah. I'll tell you why, right? Firstly, it's the cast, right? Even in pilot episodes, you had Claudia Christian, right? Right, as his boss. Then they phased her out and brought in, obviously, the legend of Jane Badler, all hail Diana. You know, and they had, I mean, Flash fucking Gordon, man. I mean, you know, I'm a big fan of Sam J. Jones. I think the guy's awesome. You know, I loved him in Ted. I just love Flash Gordon. It's in my top 5 movies of all time. Flash Gordon's excellent. And I don't know too much about Jacko's Jetto. He was just in Energizer adverts, you know. But it's, you know, and then you've got Mr. Tuvok, Tim Russ as DC, Fontana or Montana, which I just think the 4 of them works really well. And the concept of this, that these trucks are sent out in parts of America, in places where things are going on which normal law enforcement can't deal with, that their agencies protect to set up, like the first saying about protecting reality and the fringes of society. Sort of go with that. The first one, it's making him sound like you know, he's on the road taking out bad guys. But I prefer the second one, which I think by the time from the pilot episodes at TV series, they had more of a clue where they were going, but there were things not put in place properly. There's a few flaws which we have sort of gone over them, you know. But now, why could this have been a classic? The concepts of the trucks, which is brilliant. There is some problems, which we've done that. The acting cast is brilliant. You're getting from an amazing range of science fiction actors. That alone should make it enough. And on top of that, it's from Glenn Larson, you know, and we all grew up on his stuff. I mean, Glenn to us is the guy's an icon, you know what I mean? I saw him speak at Comic Con a few years ago, and it was really fascinating watching that, you know, about his what he's done and his imagination. And you know, the guy was a creative genius, you know, in television. And so Highwayman had so much potential, it really did. I mean, just the music, the opening, the storylines. I mean, there's several storylines that's good. There's an episode with Jetto where he goes back into his war past. Something happens to him and he loses his memory, and he develops a war stance with his personality, thinks he's back in field again. And that's all about his past, which is interesting. And I think if Highwayman had got 22 episodes at the time and moved into season 2, I think we'd have found out a lot more where this could have gone. But it would have had to have stayed with like the X-Files-ish science fiction out there storylines. I mean, I've 1 or 2 episodes where it's not, where they're solving the odd crime with organised crime and stuff. But I mean, really take it on the fringes of weirdness. You know, I mean, the alien invasion episode, I really enjoyed. The clone one, the time travel one, and there's several others in there which make it interesting to deal with the mystical and all this. This guy is out there with, there's not just him, there's a whole load of them in trucks dealing with this type of stuff and crimes, you know, the edge of society. So I think Highwayman could have been a classic. I really do. So I'm going to stand by this one, guys. I'm really going to stand by this one. Highwayman is a classic, you know, and it deserves... Now, unfortunately, there's some bad news. You could watch all this on YouTube, but YouTube seemed to have... the episodes are on there, but they've wiped the volume out. Unless anybody finds them on YouTube. The whole series was on YouTube, quite a few. You can find it quite easily. But it seems to have... sort of copyrighted it out. I don't know why they're doing that, unless, you know, hopefully they're going to release it on DVD. If they do, I'll be buying it. I have a love and affection for this series, I really do. And I think, like, the two guys that did the podcast, it's same thing for them. Highwayman is quite a unique concept. It takes from Knight Rider, it takes from Werewolf, it takes from Street Hawk, but it creates its own. You bang all that together and it has its own element. This came from a time of Automan, A-Team, all that. So you remember all that? We were getting loads of this stuff each week, you know, and it was sort of, you know, if it weren't for this type of stuff, we won't get a lot of what we're getting today. And I think Highwayman deserves some respect. I really do. I know it's cheesy. I know that, you know, they've said, you know, people, oh, what's that? No, give this thing a chance. I think the potential of it is great. And if they brought this back and redid it as a much darker sort of series, you know, I think it could work. I really do. The trucks, one of them, I think it's Highway's truck. I think I saw a thing a while back about what the trucks are still in use today. One of them's a travelling tattoo thing, which I think is so damn cool, and it's called the Highwayman. So, which is just awesome. I don't know what happened to other trucks. I have seen these trucks have been in quite a few films and science fiction stuff. So they are still being used today. The design of these things are brilliant. I mean, it'd be great how they drove them, you know what I mean? The Highway character himself, they just call him Highway. We don't know his name. We don't really know much about his past. But I reckon over the couple of seasons, we would have started digging into his past. You know, something obviously tragic happened in his past as well, and his ex-special forces and all this. There's little things dropped. I like the DC Fontana or DC Montana character. I think Tim Russ really hammed it up. And Jane Badler as that, like, how do you say it, boss of his, she was the, like, she's on top of it all, bossy and organised and by the book. I think it all worked. There's a great scene where she leads him on a bit, and she's out, she's been to see an opera, and she's having a meal, and he walks in and gets hold of her and throws her in the fountain. She's going, what are you doing? Picks her up in front of a date and just takes her outside, throws her in the fountain, you know, and he says, look, you're not leading me on. So it's quite interesting. It's a good sense of humour in this episode as well. Sam J. Jones should have been an A-list Hollywood star. He really should have been. I've always been a big fan of the guy, and everything he's in I've really enjoyed. I liked him when he was in Stargate, you know. He should have gone so far, I know it, but he does. People like the guy, and I'm glad, you know, I like the film about Flash Gordon, what he did, which I've ordered it on. I will review it when I get it. I'm just putting an order on Amazon for it. So about, you know, about him and Flash Gordon and all that, which I just think is great. I don't know what happened. I've been trying to find out what happened to Energize the guy, you know, on the Duracell adverts and that. Which if I find out, I'm going to dig a bit more. But yeah, Highwayman, I'm going to say it and I'm going to stand by this. Highwayman, yes, cheesy as it is, and I've watched it with a couple of friends when I've been hammered and we've tore it apart, and I'll tell you, but one thing, you don't forget it, and when it lingers in your head, do you remember Highwayman, that dude in a truck? Oh God, yeah, I remember that. You know, that is where I'm going to say, this could have been a classic. So that's it. I'll be on at 7 o'clock tonight, guys. Please press the notification bell up there. Subscribe button down there. I will see you on the next video. The next could have been classic will be next week. Will be Black Scorpion. Trust me, guys, you're gonna love this. You know what I mean? So thanks for watching episode 6, and you know the rules of could have been a classic. It should have been cancelled. There's no follow on, and flops at the movies, but it's big on DVD and where it could have gone. Right, guys, I'll see you tonight at 7 o'clock. Don't forget, great chat tonight. I hope we talk Highwayman, actually. And yeah, peace out until life immortal.